Hello everybody, something slightly different today, a bit of a nostalgia post more than anything else. I saw a guy on YouTube trying to cast some models and it brought back a lot of memories. And a few years ago, getting older, you have a bit of nostalgia, don't you? Like to reclaim your youth. So I did, and I bought myself my favourite mould from Prince August, which I used to do as a kid. And these are the men-at-arms range, they're 25mm. And I had loads. I had orcs, wraiths, skeletons, goblins, goblin wolf riders. I had the knights on horseback, the knights here. I think one of the most complicated ones was an orc catapult. And I also had some Napoleonic ranges as well, British and French. So they were quite good. They're a great way to build up a little army. We used to use these all the time doing Fancy Battle, the 2nd edition, which was great. So what I thought I'd do, just for a giggle, is cast some models, and maybe some of you used to do this and it'll give you a little trip down memory lane. So the one thing I noticed when I opened this the first time after years of not doing it, so I'll just show you the insides of them. I've got my daughter filming again, doing a cracking job as usual. As you can see, I've already had a play years ago when I first bought them. It's a bit of paint there because I've been painting some demons as well, which you've seen on other videos. But the smell, you never forget the smell of these molds, and they're the same sort of rubber, vulcanized rubber, as car tires. What comes in the pack is a guide on how to make your molds and what to do and what to use. So what we're going to do is do that. So first thing, with your molds, you've got to dust them with a releasing agent, and all it is a little bit of talcum powder. This comes in the starter pack that you get from Prince August. This is what I treat myself to. That's all you need. Don't need a lot, but you've got to get rid of the excess. So can you see that? There you go. So that's a decent amount of cover in there. Then all you need is a bits of wood. I tend to have the wood a little bit proud, so if I do overfill, it's either going to go that way or off there. Speaking of which, you want to be able to be on something. Now, as a kid, I used to, can you see that sooner? I used to do it on paper, and it just burnt a little bit. It didn't go up in flames or anything like that. But it's always worth getting your missus's favourite chopping board. She loves it. And then you get in the starter pack 2 clamps, top and bottom. Just some. You can use elastic bands as well. And that's really it, ready to go. Now what you've got to do is melt the metal. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So what we're going to do is we're going to scan over here. There's some already melted down, but what I'm going to do, that's not hot. This was melted down the other day. What we're going to do is we're going to melt that down, and then we're going to show you some tips on making sure it's not too hot, not too cold. Okay, so we'll just pause the video, and when we come back, that'll be all but melted. That's too much. Okay guys, welcome back. This is almost melted. You can see there's a lump there. Now the thing is, with the metal, it's got to be at a reasonable temperature. And Prince August do their own YouTube channels with a massive amount of tips, which is great if you want to look it up. But the humble stick, which you can get from any fast food retail outlet, or you get a match. It's as simple as that, but don't use the bit you strike, use the other end, or cut the bit you strike off. It has to be a reasonable temperature. And the other thing you want to do sometimes is you can get this gunk on there, and just scoop that out, get rid of that. So to check your temperature, get your stick, put it there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No smoke. It's too cold. If you try and pour with that now, it's not hot enough to flow in through all the nooks and crannies of the mold, so it needs to be a little bit hotter. So we'll just pop that in again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, no smoke. You've got to get some smoke, tiny little bit of smoke coming off that now. So we're almost there. break the end off that. Track that down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, still got to go. The good thing about Prince August metal is it does melt at a lower temperature. As a kid, there was a house being done opposite where I used to live. So I was about 14, 15 when I've done this. And we found a load of lead they dug off the roof. So me and my mate liberated that. And I cast, I think, in one evening, a whole Goblin and Orc army. And the next day I was quite ill. I think I gave myself lead poisoning because of all the fumes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still no smoke. Just a tiny bit. It's a bit hard to see on the camera. But this is actually crucial. If it's too hot, you can damage the mould. And this is the problem I had with melting lead. Lead melts at about 300 degrees, so it's not really recommended. Yeah, a little bit of smoke coming off there, which you probably won't see in the camera. I want to overheat it so you can see what happens. If it's too hot, you're just going to damage your moulds. But if you have done any of this before and you used to do it, then please leave a comment underneath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's better. That's got a bit more smoke to it now. So we're going to deliberately get it too hot now. So if we just pause this a sec. Okay, if it's too hot, cast a bit of shadow there. There we go. If it's too hot, you'll feel when you put that in, the stick will kind of vibrate a little bit, and you can see the smoke coming off it straight away. A bit hard to see maybe in the video. See it coming off straight away. That's too hot. So what we're going to do is turn that off. We'll pause the video and let this cool down, and then we'll be back for pouring. Okay, so we've checked the temperature. That's okay. So what we're going to do now is, I tend to use a spanner. You can use a spoon. Just give it a little tap as you pour it. Try and get it all in. That's all I tend to do. And then we'll just leave that there. And that'll do. And then we'll be back to open these and see how it goes. There's me casting shadows everywhere and telling me door off for it. I'm doing it myself. Right, okay, so we'll let that cool down. You've got to let it cool for a good 2-3 minutes, because these ignits here, these lumps here, will be so hot and you'll just burn your hands. And you need to be able to pull the model out easily enough as well. So it needs to solidify a little bit inside. And we'll see how it goes. So we'll come back in 2 or 3 minutes and open that up. So we'll pause the video again. Okay, so here we go. A couple of minutes have passed since you pause the video. So if this goes wrong, this is kind of live. I'm not going to edit it just for the hell of it. Okay, but these will still be hot. I'm dreading this myself, to be fair. There you go. Now, classic, I use this little pointing stick here. Can you hold me on this one? Is that easy enough for you to do? Because this end of the mould wasn't tight enough, you get little flashes there, which of course anybody who's dealt with metal figures will know that's the case. And these two here, these have turned out quite well. These two were always my favourite, to be fair. But we're going to try and ease these out without burning ourselves. There's one. I might be able to, let's see. 2. Right, there you go. So let's have a look. See if we can get close enough for that to show. You holding on that for me? There you go. So it's fairly basic. There's not a massive amount of detail. So that's that they've cooled down enough. Right. So there's not a massive amount of detail, but if you're looking to start a fantasy army, then what a great place to start. Like I said, we used to use these models when we played Warhammer Fantasy Battle 2nd edition. So this one would obviously need a bit of cleaning up. But that's fine, because all I do then is make sure I clamp it tight that side. So what I'll do is I'll snip these off, clean them up, and take some photos of them. And then what I will do is give them a paint. So this video will finish with these 3 models all painted. And I hope you enjoyed having a trip down memory lane. And if there's other ones you want me to maybe get the moulds off and have a go at them and paint them, then just drop it in the comments. And all these, obviously you snip off, remelt them, and you should get enough for another model each. And according to Prince August, you should get possibly 9 models out of 1 bar of their metal. So thanks for watching, but have a look at the photos that follow after. Cheers for now, bye. Okay, so obviously you've seen that's them with the bit cut off there, and what I've done is I decided to paint it, and that's come out really well. And as I said to you, this is probably the best I've ever, try and bring that closer, best I've ever painted these, and I've really enjoyed going down memory lane, and I hope you've enjoyed the video as well. So it didn't take too long to do these, but I must be honest, I wouldn't want to do an army at this sort of level, so that's come out a lot better than I ever did as a kid. And then the last one with the pole arm, and then there you go. What a difference. You always find with these though, the sword never comes out properly. You can do you can cut in what they call air lines to allow the air to escape so the metal flows into all the gaps, but I'm not too bothered like that. But I've really enjoyed doing these, so much so I'm half tempted to get the French or British Napoleonic mould I had, because oddly enough my mother kept some of the models I painted, so it'd be funny to do a then and now type of thing. One thing I'm quite chuffed about, which you might be able to see, is I managed to paint, there we go, managed to paint the brass around the eye slit, so that's quite good. So all in all, really happy with that. I hope you enjoyed it, like I said, and we'll get back to doing some 40k and bolt action stuff later. So bye for now.